Careful people report the truth. Welcome to Gpdn Weekly News. I'm Ella Lee. First of all, let's look at top pro news of the week. Texas was hit by storms bringing torrential rains, which caused at least 21 people dead last week. Flooding turned streets into rivers, ripped homes off their foundations, swept over thousands of vehicles and trapped people in cars and houses. U.S. President Barack Obama signed a disaster declaration last Friday to free up federal funds for rebuilding the areas affected by the disasters in Texas. About 100,000 U.S. taxpayers were illegally accessed by cyber criminals over the past 4 months, U.S. IRS Commissioner John Koskinen said. Attackers sought to gain access to personal tax information through the agency's online application called Get Transcript. The criminal investigation was ongoing, and the agency will strengthen its security measures and provide the victims with free credit monitoring and protection. Policymakers must ensure that financial industry creditors do not expect government bailouts and must be willing to let firms fail in order to restore market discipline, said Jeffrey Lecker, president of the Richmond Federal Reserve Bank. He added that long-term solution to ending too-big-to-fail banks is restoring market discipline so that financial firms and their creditors have an incentive to avoid fragile funding arrangements. U.S. consumer confidence rose in May, according to a report released last Tuesday by a private sector. An industry group, the Conference Board, said its index for consumer attitudes rose from a downwardly revised 94.3 in April to 95.4. Economists are looking for a reading in May of 94.9, according to a Reuters poll. Former law consultants of the White House, Kenneth Jacobson, and former Congresswoman Marjorie Margolis did an academic and cultural exchange in Taiwan.
Activating the globe symbolizes protecting human rights together. 3 experts in law and human rights are invited to Taiwan to make academic exchange and closely observe Taiwan's human rights situation. The experts include Kenneth Jacobson, the professor of law at Temple University, Marjorie Margolis, former U.S. Congresswoman, and June Quinn, president of Sky Academy. In the press conference, Professor Chi-Long Chen at the College of Law of National Taiwan University pointed out that the 3 experts represent important pieces of a civilized society that are liberty, democracy, and rule of law according to their background. Professor Jacobson, a well-known expert in sports law and practicing lawyer in the U.S., said complete sports law protects the rights of athletes, sports teams, sports owners, and sports fans, and even the whole industry.
I think sports law really just brings a system together where it protects team owners, it protects fans, it protects people that are in the process, while also helping the businesses because there's a predictable set of rules that everyone has to follow. So my experience in the United States, sports are flourishing there with these laws and rules, and I think the same would happen in Taiwan.
Marjorie Margolis, the president of Women Campaign International, has worked on women's rights for many years. She is also the mother-in-law of Chelsea Clinton, daughter of former U.S. President Bill Clinton. Ms. Margolis gave a suggestion on how to solve the problem that women are facing now.
There's a voice that women can project, that can share, that makes those issues that are always kind of secondary worldwide. If we can take those and put them from the back burner to the front burner, then we're really doing a service. Education issues, women handle those in every single solitary society. And as much as we say it's important to get women there, there's not a backing.
They delivered keynote speeches at international forums on sports law and human rights on May 29th and 30th, in hope of establishing a human rights foundation in Taiwan in the near future. Felicia Zhou, Gpdn.
Brazilian researchers say an extract from the Indian spice saffron could be the latest piece in the puzzle in the fight against dengue.
These tiny little threads can turn foods a magical marigold color. Now it seems that saffron can also help limit the reproduction of dengue-carrying mosquitoes. Researchers at the Physics Institute at the University of Sao Paulo found that when the Aedes aegypti mosquito is exposed to an extract from the spice mixed with sugar, it erodes the mosquito's digestive system from within, preventing it from reproducing. Researcher Natalia Inada.
Em contato, com a luz solar, essa substância aqui.
When it comes into contact with solar light and in the presence of oxygen, this chemical substance encourages the production of other reactive forms of oxygen. These toxic forms of oxygen go on to kill the Aedes aegypti. So what we are proposing to do with this research is provide a substance to inactivate to kill the larva of the Aedes in a way that is quick and non-aggressive toward the environment.
Sao Paulo battles an ongoing epidemic of dengue fever, with at least 8,000 cases recorded just this year. Tests on the photodynamic potential of the saffron sugar compound have been carried out using various sources of light. All the larvae bred in water containing the compound died after being exposed for 1 to 2 hours.
A gente está na fase final de testes dessa substância.
We're in the final phase of tests on this substance in relation to other living organisms. The target of our investigations is the Aedes aegypti, but we know that it's possible for other environments to be contaminated and that fish, algae, a child, or a pet could enter into contact with the substance. So we need to have total certainty that the substance will not cause any environmental harm.
Que a substância não vai causar impacto ambiental.
The team are already in contact with the City Council and hope to begin using the new saffron compound soon to help combat this deadly disease. Karen Kuo, Gpdn.
Mind-bending technology allows amputees to control their bionic prosthetic limbs with their thoughts.
Gumi Olafsson doesn't have to think about how his foot moves. That's despite sporting a bionic prosthetic leg. He felt the new sense of control over his bionic limb almost instantly.
As soon as I put my foot on, it took me about 10 minutes to get control of it. And I could stand up and just walk away.
It's all thanks to tiny sensors in his remaining leg muscle picking up the brain signals to nerve endings and linked to a receiver in his prosthesis. Also, Throvardian Varsson performed the surgical procedure to insert the sensors in patients.
We put in sensors into the muscles who pick up this signal, and then in fact that signal is moved away into the prosthetics, and then the prosthetics react as your brain actually wants.
Also, a prosthetic specialist uses implanted myoelectric sensors developed in the United States, combined with its own bionic limbs. The Icelandic company says it's the first time amputees have ever been able to control lower limb prosthesis subconsciously. Patients will soon be able to upgrade existing prosthetics and control them using their minds. In the future, the sensors could be developed to react to the environment.
Our ultimate goal is to actually replace the function of the lost limb. The next step might be to get sensing from the environment, so you have a feedback loop.
For now, Gumi's body is still adapting to the responsive prosthetic.
Every day, if you are using it, you're always getting more and more control over what you're doing with your foot. So in a way, every day you're learning more how to walk proper, even with the foot. How to use it, going downhill, uphill, downstairs, upstairs, even sitting down and standing up from a chair.
Also plans to extend trials of their mind-controlled bionic limb beyond Gumi and the second patients. They say it brings amputees a step closer to truly integrating their prosthesis with their bodies. Jessie Zheng, Gpdn.
A Taiwanese man, Wu Yuting, has created a functional, full-body replica of Tony Stark's suit from the hit comic book and movie series Iron Man and taken Iron Man fandom to a whole new level. Wu, 28, had always considered himself the biggest fan of the comic hero, Iron Man. When he saw the film at a local theater, he was inspired to build his own suit of armor.
而且就是还蛮喜欢钢铁人，然后就是有一次去看电影，然后就看到那个电影院厅摆的一个那个1:1的公仔，钢铁人的公仔，然后就觉得很想要买一座回去这样，然后后来也觉得 好像蛮贵的，因为一个都要价不菲这样，然后觉得还是自己做好了，还是也可以摆在家里好看，然后也可以自己穿出去玩玩酷手这样子，对。
Wu is a local dance teacher, and his friend took about 8 weeks and $164 to build their own custom Iron Man suit. They got their ideas from various fan websites, where offers other replica and tutorial. While this suit does not have all the functionality of Tony Stark's own Iron Man suit, its arc reactor, the center chest piece of the suit glows, and the LED lights on his palms and helmet lights up, just as Robert Downey Jr. demonstrates in the film. The helmet can also open and close at a click of a button. He sometimes wears the suit in public, and while practicing his dance moves, he drew a crowd of curious onlookers at the local train station.
我觉得头有点大，但是他身体好像有点短，可能是身材关系，所以看起来有点像缩小版的钢铁人。对，但是整体上我觉得蛮精致的，就是自己也很想要有一套。
我觉得电影上的那个钢铁人比较帅，然后也比较高这样，然后比较有光泽。可是这个感觉比较可爱，比较亲近的感觉。我比较喜欢这一个。
Just with very little money, those young men can create a superhero model and a lot of fun through their creativity. Joanne Dai, Gpdn. Thank you for joining us on Gpdn Weekly News. I'm Ella Lee. See you next time.